Today's project is ceiling fan number 2. After being happy with the one in the bedroom, I've decided to put one up in the living room as well. Opening the wall up was just a matter of prying the paneling off. They're just held in with staples and nails. Also had to pry the trim piece off from around this window. So now that the paneling's off, I can see all the channels inside the wall. I've got the panel that I took off the wall out here on the porch on the table, getting out all the staples and nails that were holding it on, as well as the trim piece that was around the windows. There's a lot of nails. It's a lot easier just to pull all those out and put all the new nails in to hold everything in. The issue I face with this install is that this wall does not already have wiring in it, and it's the only real wall that I can put the switch in. So I have to be creative and find additional sources of 12-volt wiring. Problem is there is wiring in the slides, but the slide wiring comes in from the floor. So the next thing to do is go into the kitchen, and this vent fan has 12-volt power to it. So this is what I'm going to attempt to open up and access the wiring for it. So there is an easy access to 12-volt, except my goal is to use these channels all the way down the motorhome to run the wiring to get it over to that wall and to get it to the ceiling fan. The problem is here, it's metal all the way around the ceiling fan, so I'm probably going to have to use my wall fish and try to go under the plywood, between the plywood and the insulation, over to the channel. So that'll be a little more challenging. Okay, I'm positioning the fan itself onto the ceiling. I've measured and centered it. I have to be able to get to these channels. I've opened everything up so I can get to the channels all the way down to where the power is in the kitchen for the vent fan, all the way up to here and over to the wall that I've opened up. I screw the fan to the ceiling first just so it'll make indentions, and then I take it down and I drill the hole directly underneath the spindle, which will be big enough to allow room for and air around the spindle, as well as the wiring and all the wire nuts. Plus, once I get in the ceiling, it needs to be big enough for me to make a channel over to about here. So about 8 inches to get to the AC vent ductwork, so I can get it all the way down to the rest of the wiring and over to the wall. As a side note, there's no extra bracing needed. If you look, the ceiling is all 3/4 inch plywood. With the screws that hold that in, that's more than enough to support the weight of the fan without any extra bracing, so it gets screwed straight into this. Okay, it's the point of no return. I've drilled the hole, so that should give me enough room for the wires. Now I just need to make a channel in this styrofoam over to the ductwork. Okay, we have success. I have a channel using my wall fish, and it pierced into the ductwork for the AC. I just make a very small hole, just enough for the wire, but I did it diagonally so I can get my hand up into the ductwork, because I put foil tape that's waterproof, weatherproof, everything, to around the hole where the wire goes, just to keep that ductwork sealed. This is the foil tape that I used to seal the holes inside the duct. The next step is running the wall fish from that vent all the way up to this one that I can get to with the channel, and I tie a string to that. The string now is coming out of that hole. Going to go into the vent here where I can actually access it, and then it's going to be pulled all the way down to there, over in the ductwork that goes over the wall that I want to drill down into. Now I'm going from the opposite direction. I'm going from the DC power that I'm going to use and getting it into the ductwork system with my wall fish, which I was able to just go under between the insulation and the plywood. And I'm going to pull string through there so that I can get my 12-volt DC wire into the ductwork, which I'll then run also over the wall that I'm going to drill down into. Here's the mess so far. I've got the DC all the way over to here. I've got the ceiling fan wiring all the way through all the ductwork here as well. So now it's a matter of getting these into this wall. It's been lots of drilling and lots of wall fishing, but I finally have the wiring into the wall and down through to where I want the switch. So now I just need to measure and cut the paneling before I place it back, and then I just pull the wires. This is my favorite tool, since most motorhomes have compressors anyway, even if it's just to keep your tires inflated. This makes it a lot easier to put up trim and paneling when you have to pull walls apart in your motorhome. These kind of saws are about the best ones you can do for making a perfect rectangular or square cut into a wall to hold the light. And it fits perfect. So I've twisted all the color-coded wires together, put on the wire nuts, and now it's ready to coil and push up into the ceiling. Okay, I've got the wires all twisted in for the switch, the two 12-volt DC, and the 4 that go up to the ceiling fan. About ready to put it all back. And the wall's back together, the trim's up, the switch on the wall is wired, and the cosmetic plate's on. The ceiling fan is mounted and wired. Let's see if it works.